StarCraft, you are right. It feels kind of right that he is the one that is currently playing the Protoss unit here. So, yeah.
So far, holding that lane very well. Dignitas, I do like their adaptation to the lanes here. When you look at Team Liquid on the bottom side, their wave clear is pretty small, Rhaegar being one of their main wave clears, but they do have kill potential, so Dignitas plays careful, and they just keep golding on that bottom lane to keep fail flaming the waves as much as possible.
Yeah, bot lane, this is where the fight is now happening. And keep in mind, at some point, Dignitas is going to make the rotation bot. And that means that HazOps, at that point, has to make sure that he gets the top beacon. And at the bot lane, Liquid is going to see how they can actually measure up against this. For now, we have the 4 versus 3 at the bot lane, which guarantees a beacon for Team Liquid. And we have, at this point, also level 4, which gives us 4 Chromie. Once again, the Bronze Talon. We already see 9 stacks for Nurok. And Probius so far not making the choice here. Turbocharge now taken. So HazOps moving a bit away from that build that he occasionally shows on his personal stream, where he goes into quite a bit of turret builds and Talons. Instead, Turbocharge is now taken for the passive movement speed. Like, it's all about positioning here. Darkmog. Ooh, no.
He's low, the heal comes out. Oh, not enough. Does get picked up. Blooming comes down, trying to fight a little bit over this shrine. We'll be able to have the shrine grab on the top, though, the beacon, as Probius moves forward. Yeah,
that's the global play that we've been talking about a bit earlier now. So exactly what you would expect. With them moving down, they could get the kill against Alarak. Now they have the pressure play up at the top. And with the Haka moving in, of course, Team Liquid is going to lose this one as well. Which is why Liquid moves in at the bot lane, trying to regain control over the bottom beacon. And then that entire dynamic is something we are going to see now over and over again. If they get the kill against JPL, that would be the dream. And they do!
Snipe.
Nurok with a snipe. He gets that kill confirmed. Well done. But 16% on the progress bar for Dignitas, thanks to their efforts. And HazOps is just trying to work on his setup up at the top again.
HazOps playing safe, doing what he does best with that Probius, clearing out the waves. All the way, by the way, that turbocharge, I love that pickup there on the level 4 you were talking about already. But again, the main reason for it is that cooldown reduction. Yep. If you ever get to a spot where a gank comes your way, or you know that the Haka is throwing in, you hear the big sound that he's going to be in the bush nearby, just pop that. Just get away from the fight and wait for a little bit, and then stay near your pylons, continue to get that slight movement speed, which helps you dodge out on skill shots.
It basically is, yeah, the movement speed and the cooldown reduction is like both so important so that Probius is not going to get caught. The problem is, if the probe dies being solo on its lane, then you are losing experience and you're going to lose a lot of it. And that's the biggest issue. Now 2 globals up at the top, and that means Liquid has to take the one at the bottom. Here's the kill against Probius though, and welcome to the worst case scenario.
One drag hits and he's just dead.
Yeah, so that's exactly the one situation they needed to avoid, because now the 2 globals can also start to move down. We have a 4 versus 3 for now, but here comes Falstad flying in. The Haka is also moving in. Lombi immediately dashing out, but the Haka cancels his burn, is now up at the top. Both of the beacons are under the control of Team Dignitas, and that's exactly the power play with the globals that they can do.
And let's look at it here. So far, one Probius death has equaled out to 30% on the beacon. It's going to be a little bit more here as it goes all the way up to 60, continuing to climb here to 70. Azalea and Snitch delay as long as they can. So a total of 48% was grabbed off of that Probius death. That's how important it is not to die in that top lane.
HazOps just can't die. Tower defense is now taken as well. So it's all about cooldown reduction right now on basically every single talent that HazOps has outside of level 1 with the Echo Pulse, but they fight for the bottom again. 4 versus 3 scenario. They reclaim the beacon, but they again lose out on the progress. 78% now against 20. So Dignitas is slowly and steadily starting to win the first objective. In experience, the teams are still both extremely close. We have level 7 talents now taken, but overall, as you can see, Liquid finds themselves on the defensive.
I am worried for Team Liquid if they're not able to get any more beacon progress. Their defense is a bit small compared to what Dignitas has on their side when it comes to clearing out the waves. They will have Probius, which again is helpful, but it does require some setup time. And then they'll have to get a kill between Alarak and Chromie, but it's hard for the Alarak to move into that Zerg wave, and Chromie, while she does have the range, Dignitas will be expecting that. So they'll be moving constantly to try not to get locked down.
Yeah, currently Liquid is trying to get some extra value on the lanes by themselves, just getting camp after camp. And that has worked out to an extent. Down here to the bot lane, we now have the rotation coming in again. Lumbi is now moving in, and we have Rhaegar and Alarak also on their way, which leaves Probius in a 1 versus 2 up at the top. So the Haka is starting to get the beacon once more, but reclaiming the bot lane, this is where Team Liquid is at. So it's the entire time, it's just about that 1 versus 2 at the top lane, the 4 versus 3 at the bottom of the map, the constant rotations of the globals, and Team Liquid always reacting to where the 2 global heroes are. Do they move bottom? then you need to reclaim the beacon at the top. Are they at the top? Then you have a better position to take the bottom beacon, and that's what they're trying to do.
At 10, getting closer and closer for Dig. Nurok goes in for a full combo on top of JPL, but Baker with the safeguard just keeps him alive easily here. With all 4 members down on the bottom for Team Liquid, Dignitas continues to push on the top side. Soak the experience, trying to get towards that Probius and, you know, get a turret or maybe get a kill, but Hasselhoff continues to play safe.
And I mean, we haven't even touched on Bakery on Morales yet, but you can see that he has absolutely no problem down here at the bot lane. He's just super safe, always staying in the back. Nurok can't even really focus Morales with any kind of hit since he always has to take care of the beacon position itself. So Bakery is under very little pressure. Now we have level 10 abilities for Team Dignitas, and that is when Team Liquid rotates to the top, because they know it's the only one they can fight for. Fawcett is already on the way down to the bot lane. Team Liquid has bought some time by them rotating top. Blumby is in trouble though if he can hop out, but he doesn't have the cooldown. Yeah, he's going to die here eventually.
Yep, getting picked off. Gonna buy some time, even steal the regen globe. Speaking about that Bakery build, that level 4 pickup, Trauma Trigger, great against Alarak. If you ever are getting comboed and get below 40% health, you get 30 armor for 3 seconds. This gives the ability for Morales to walk away from a fight and then try to escape their opponents. And if she doesn't get hit by Chromie, she probably will get that escape. So an interesting adaptation. We've been seeing a lot of the grenade builds so far from a lot of our teams here in the HGC, as we have seen the Morales in both Korea and Europe. But Bakery having a different build, and it makes sense.
Yeah, beacons again, shared. 1 top, 1 bottom. So a complete split. 3 kills so far for Team Dignitas, thanks to the global play. Hazorbs again with a speed boost, rushing away from Snitch. Chromie getting a good shot in here as well, as they are reclaiming the beacon. So they have done some damage to the structures. That's at least something that works for them here. But overall, it's just Dignitas running the show.
We've been talking about Probius Morales. Chromie has 23 stacks on her quest so far. A little bit on the lower side compared to a lot of teams that we've seen, but it has been quite difficult for her to land those shots. The only target that's been out there enough for her is that ETC, who's been dancing around against that Morales. And we're getting closer and closer to that 100% for Dignitas, with 86 to 20% on beacon progress.
Yeah, Meridian was at the top fighting the Haka, but had to move back as Falstead moved in. And 86 versus 20, as you said, but at least they reclaim the progress for now. And with the camp at the bot lane, they might be able to put enough pressure onto the lane to pressure the wall and maybe even take a tower or 2 down. That would be a great start for them here to gain some momentum.
They're just going to go ahead and set up and control this bottom side with that night camp. With the Hasselhoffs already being here, Blumby has rotated from the top all the way to the bottom, and they do open up the turret walls you were just mentioning.
The problem is that at the top we are seeing the exact same thing. So they have to just push faster than the top lane does. They have to get more value out of the bottom lane than the 2 globals do. And at some point these 2 globals are going to move down. And that is the moment when you have to be prepared for the flank, especially with Mighty Gust being one of the tools that's going to be used. And we see Snitch and Zelia already getting ready for it. Here comes Falstead, JPL moves in. Yep, the Haka is also more or less ready, waits for the drag, doesn't get it. And we have the beacon taken by Snitch, and this is going to be the Zerg wave in favor of Team Dignitas, 100% against 20.
A 10-minute fight over the beacon progress resulted in Dignitas winning here with a 100% to the 20% we saw for Team Liquid. Now it's all about defense, and this is where I do worry about Team Liquid. How will they handle this big maneuver in this top lane with the Haka already clearing out the bottom side? They're definitely going to lose a 4, but will they lose more?
Yeah, that's a big question here, because we still have the Haka at the bot lane, but again, he can just move up. Snitch already eating the combo, and he moves out, gets a few more hits in, but still, so far they're doing well with Bakery just healing all of them up. Even Chromie can't do anything about it now with a nice hit, but this is a fort already eliminated, and this is an entire level that Dignitas now leads with, and of course that also results in a talent advantage for the blue team.
Dignitas continues to move forward, getting these Guardians to clear out these turrets for more experience. The Haka will finally see Alarak on the bottom, so I expect an engage from JPL. And yes, here comes the Haka as well. He's going to the back right. Snitch flies in. Mighty Gust, massive, horrify into a mosh pit. Team Dignitas cleans this fight up.
Yeah, Nurok is also going to fall here, or should at least, but somehow stays alive, at least for now. Well done. I don't think that he would be able to move out, but it still is 2 kills against Team Liquid. Overall, it's 5 kills against 1. Team Dignitas now with a 2-level lead, moving through the top wall. Bakery already setting everyone up for medevac. Moves to the bot lane where they can attempt to take down the fort too.
Working on the fort already. Murden's on his way to help display that. Here is the engage. Look at Snitch coming in with the Mighty Gust. Mana hits that Horrify.
Yeah, it's horrifying. Moshpit comes through. They go for Norok. They actually do not get the kill here, which still surprises me a bit. But the 2 kills were enough. So now the bottom 4 has fallen as well. Team Liquid is getting out-rotated, as we said before. It's not only the 2 globals with Falset and Dehaka. Now that we have Bakery on level 10, he can provide the ability for the entire team and just simply make these quick rotations with them.
And this is where it's not fun to be a Probius player. When you lose out on your forts on your side of the map and you're facing off against double global, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, do I just group with my team and try to be protected?
Okay, let's be just honest here for a second. At this point, Team Liquid is just screwed.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them.
Because the problem with Probius is the map is so open, you can't retreat to towers anymore. You can't retreat to a fort anymore. So unless you're defending at the keep itself, you have to be with the team. If you're alone on the map, as you said, there's no defense. There's always a spot for Dehaka to burrow in behind you, for Falster to fly in. Probably doesn't even have to use Gust, but if he wants to confirm a kill, Gust would make that easily possible. Right now, Team Liquid has lost all control over the battleground. Dignitas has everything they need, and it really just comes down to the draft. Liquid drafted the map where they recently had success with Zagara play, but at the same time, Dignitas used this map in Phase 1 at the end, Phase 1 Part 2, quite often with double globals, and Liquid completely disrespected that. And then Dignitas didn't have to do anything else but ban out Zagara as she wasn't taken early. No global was taken early by Liquid, so they take a double global, they take Morales at the end, they eliminate the one hero that Liquid wants to run on this map, and now Liquid stands there and is just taking a beating throughout the entire early phase of the game.
Yep, they're in panic mode now. Desperation is probably one of the best things they can set up for. They're going to throw a couple pylons up in the top right corner and have the Photon being available. So if there is a hard engage from Dignitas that they fail on, there is always the idea of pylon overcharge and a crummy blow-up that can save them, but it's going to be dire. It's going to be very difficult for them to pull that off. Dignitas is not going to make that mistake. They've shown the last couple of weeks to play very disciplined, and they'll go ahead and push in the top side probably.
I mean, right now, I think Dignitas cannot lose this game anymore. Dignitas can only lose this game if they completely throw. If they full-on start griefing, then maybe. If they lose,
Snitch gets silenced here.
The problem is, even if you kill one global, the other one can still stay on the lane. Like, just think about how this is going to work. They have 2 globals, so they can push on one lane. There has to be a rotation. Once the rotation happens, the 2 globals can go for the fight, can try and get the kill, and they just repeat that until they get that kill. And even if they don't get it, they will at least end up with an advantage in talents every single time. So they can even push for the faster 20 if the 60 talent advantage doesn't prove to be enough. And killing someone, how is Liquid going to get a kill here? With Bakery going to be in there all the time? I mean, Zelia might fall here. They can just rotate false at top again and pressure the keep now. They don't even have to win the fight. That's the biggest problem.
They found a hostile back left. Gets healed as Ancestral. We're going to have the big mosh pit coming in. Bakery will attempt to stop it from occurring. Is going to be able to go straight for JPL, but the safeguard and the heals might be enough. Bakery is low on energy, so they might want to escape for now. Nurok gets caught, though, as Zelia lands the drag, and finally a kill comes in for Dignitas.
And again, you don't even have to fight this. At any point, they could have sent a global to the top lane to simply push the keep. Once you do that, I mean, what are you going to do? The keep is going to fall. You can already see the keep taking damage, and we're having Hazops now trying to save it. But if you, during that battle, just simply decide that you give up the bottom beacon, you can easily do it. They win the fight, which is, of course, even better, but they had so many options. Now they take Probius down, they're going to kill Mirrodin. The beacon progress is just continuing. It's going to be 100%. There is no way for Dignitas to lose this game until they full-on grief. For Liquid to win it, they needed to win the early game, and that didn't happen.
Keep gets cleaned up, and there is one thing that is certain right now: Zerg is better than Protoss. As we see the Zerg wave in the bottom side.
You take that back.
Starting to push it.
You take that
Zerg's
back.
better than Protoss? I thought you were a Zerg fan.
Did you say the other way around?
No, I didn't say the other way around.
Okay.
You just wanted to jump on me. This guy over here.
It's true.
The Zerg shredding on the bottom side. Open the wall. And
You're
there's
a good boy.
Thank you. Thank you.
I heard the other thing. I'm just, I don't know. I have to admit it. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed by Liquid's draft here. I really am. They chose the map. They needed to.
Be ready.
Did they actually choose the map?
Yeah, they did.
Yep, they did. Because
first pick went over to
last one, yeah.
Well, the core is taking damage. They might be able to slow this down.
Come on, are you kidding
me? But they do. They hold it.
Yeah, but the keeps are both dead. Dignitas hasn't lost. We are on Braxis and Dignitas hasn't lost a fort. How can Liquid win this? If Dignitas goes AFK for a few minutes, there's one chance. Another one is if Dignitas, for example, at some point decides they go for a boss play when Forster does. Like, even a boss play, how can you lose a boss play if you're having Mighty Gust and you also have Horrify?
Requires Probius to be set up, but you shouldn't walk into a trap with a couple pylons around.
I mean, even at a boss play, you can't really throw it, but that's the only way how they possibly could lose this. If they take a weird fight at the boss, Liquid wins the boss fight and then pushes with the boss, but even then you can just backdoor with Medivac. I mean, this is just... Liquid is getting a beating in this game. 8 kills against 1. They casually move in, think about stealing the camp away. Didn't commit anything though. Don't sacrifice a Gust just simply for a camp. Can easily take that. The camp already that they have moving through the bot lane. They can wait for the beacons again, and the only thing they have to do is wait for the beacons, and once the beacons are active, it's checkmate. Because Liquid either has to make a play for the beacons, which they never can do because there's 2 globals out-rotating them, and then both of the lanes are getting pushed. So eventually Liquid is going to have to make the choice, do we go and defend our core? If we do, our opponent grabs both beacons. Do we force a fight? Then the other lane is going to push in, the 2 globals move top or bottom, depending on where they are, and end the game.
Team Liquid's doing what they can for now, which is keep tabs on their opponent. Make sure they don't go for that boss in case they do have that miracle boss call. Leave Probius for defense, which Probius can excel for just defending 2 ways for a long time, so they should be fine in that regard. But with 20 right on the corner, about to those beacons pop up. Dignitas is playing it safe as possible, controlling bushes, JP on the front line. We never have Bakery getting caught out of position.
Liquid knows all of this. They're waiting for a mistake. They know that if Dignitas doesn't make a huge mistake, the game's over. They need to. They are staying in this as long as they can, and they're hoping that at some point Dignitas is going to make a really bad mistake and that they can capitalize on it. And at this point, they're so desperate as the beacons are now up that they're going for the boss. It's the only thing they can do. But you're taking a boss right now against an opponent that has Horrify, Mosh Pit, and Mighty Gust.
Let's see if it pans out. They get it low. JPL's waiting for his moment. The slowing stands on the left side. There is a Mighty Gust right below with the false set that can come in and knock back the opponents. There is Photon Overcharge up for Probius, which is going to be helpful for DPS. The Mighty Gust comes out. There's the Power Slide into the Horrify. The boss is yet to be grabbed, but already with a Murnin and Alaric dead, and now a Nurok. Team Liquid loses 4, a 5th member, and a boss, and the Beacon Phase.
Yeah, it's the team wipe. The Beacon Phase is lost. Medivac to the core. Catapults are going to finish the core. Again, Liquid knew it was over. They were hoping for a mistake. The mistake didn't happen. Then they had, once the beacons were up, they knew it's GG. The only play they can make is go for boss. Dignitas knows that as well. Even with boss, they probably can't win. Dignitas waits until the boss is taken, and then Gust, Horrify, Mosh Pit come into play. But Liquid, I mean, there's nothing they can do. They got crushed in draft, and their only chance to beat this was win the early game.
Yeah.
If you win the early game with it, then you have an opportunity. They didn't win the early game, so from that point on, they were just like, wait, hope for a mistake. I don't know, if Bakery face checks a bush at some point, or Falstead flies in somewhere and misclicks on the map and flies to the wrong spot, then maybe they get an insta-kill, they gain some momentum from that, and they can attempt to snowball it somehow. But the chances of that happening against Dignitas are just slim. Yeah. This is one of those games where, as Liquid, you just have to say, okay, we failed in draft. We got greedy, didn't pick a global, and on the first rotation and got punished hard for it.
But good news on Dignitas. They came in and they delivered where they needed to. Yeah. In fact, we had a fight that we got to witness. Let's go ahead and check out that fight and see how they controlled the flow around the boss. This was just pure patience from Dignitas. Look at Falset on the right side, just ready for that Mighty Gust. JPL is just dancing around, knowing this is the last-ditch attempt for a win here.
Yeah, I mean, Gust. This is just desperate.
Horrify hits all 5 people. Mene nailing it perfectly here. They focus down the hostile, the power slide in into the mosh pit. It's just done, dude.
It disturbs me slightly how much pleasure apparently Josh gets from showing this fight again, where Team Liquid went for a Hail Mary. Even the slow-mo that comes in to just see every single death in with more clarity. That is a little bit disturbing to me.
It's beautiful in a way, though, watching that all unfold. Like, they just perfectly executed on it. I mean, we were calling it the entire time, but sometimes you have flubs.
Okay, let's be honest here for a second. Yes, it was fairly well executed, but this is the easiest fight of your life.
Yeah.
You know for 5 minutes that it's coming. That's first of all. Like, you know for 5 minutes that this is going to happen. And then you just sit there and you have 5 minutes to actually think about, do you want to gust first or should I horrify first? Jay, when will you use the mosh pit? Do you want me to, like, how do we... This is the easiest fight that he will ever fight in the entire life. I mean, think about it. Liquid sees them standing there. Dignitas stands around the boss and is just like, yeah, boys, you go on.
You go first.
Boss nearly done. Liquid says, okay, let's try and take this. And they know exactly what happens, but they have nothing. They don't have any tools that can work with this. So, yes, the fight was well coordinated, but at the same time, Dignitas has won way better fights than
I don't
Cursed
know
Hollow.
about you guys at home, but I think Caldor does not believe that Team Liquid had a chance post-10 in that fight. that's the vibe I'm getting from you.
After the keeps were down, it was over. Like, the keeps down, no, sorry, the fort's down, and you have nothing. Probius becomes useless.
Well,
as
Probius.
we said, with it, like, I'm disappointed. After the first 2 maps, if that would have been the first map, I would have said, Dignitas crushing it today. But after we had such close maps, I was like all on the Team Liquid train. I was just like, this is going to be a 5-mapper. This is going to be awesome. Then they're going into Braxton like, all right, they have something prepared. We know they have Zagara, but there's going to be another strategy because they know Dignitas is probably going to ban it. And then we get this.
Well, we know Plan
I'm
Z.
tilted.
Does
Liquid,
not
I want to
work.
see something that is better now. I
Well,
want the Liquid that we had in Game 1 and Game 2.
If we get the tied-up series, it will come down to some of the tank play that we've been seeing for the last couple of days. It's JPL versus Blumby. It's going to be our player comparison for today. JPL,
A
the
beast.
shot caller, the drafter, and local beast.
I mean,
for
look
Dignitas.
at these stats. 1.3 deaths as the tank. 6.1 KDA ratio, nearly doubling what Blumby has here right now. Dignitas is playing fantastic at this point. They had a great first 2 games. They lost on Battlefield, but still good games that we had there. Some really cool fights, mainly with a couple of really nice interrupts against mosh pits, really good combos, popping off in some of those fights with the resets that he got on Liming. And now with, yeah, those two, the front line here definitely ending up in favor of Team Dignitas, especially, of course, with how inconsistent Team Liquid was in the past. And, yeah.
Blumby.
I want to see more action between the two teams. Right
You
now.
want to see a close fight.
Yeah, I want to
feel it.
see
You
5
want it.
maps. I was so hyped after the first 2 maps. I was like, oh my god, do we really get all of this? This is amazing.
Here we go.
There we go. All right.
Game number 4. A standard map for
I'm ready.
you.
I'm
So
ready.
hopefully we get a closer series as Dignitas will be setting up for game number 4.
I didn't mind the map. I love the map. The
Yeah.
map is fun.
Just needed a different plan there, as it seemed like the Zagara. It really feels like Zagara was the plan going into it, and they thought that.
I mean, obviously she
Yeah.
was the plan. Everyone knew that. Dignitas too. The thing is just, I don't even know. I don't even think it was Zagara. Like, if Zagara is really so high up on your head that you think this, okay, let's break this down for a second. There's no way that Team Liquid actually thought that Dignitas doesn't see the Zagara coming.
Sure.
Not with them using it already. So they must have known Zagara is potentially banned out. And there must have been a plan B. And I think that plan B simply got destroyed when both globals were taken away. So I think with the first rotation, when Liquid chose Muradin and Chromie, they screwed up. They needed to either take Zagara that early and drop Muradin and take him later, or they needed to take another global. But with them giving both globals over and then Zagara getting banned because they didn't pick her in the first rotation, they just had no tools anymore. So that plan B just simply didn't include for Dignitas taking all the global heroes and banning Zagara out. And I think that was the big misstep of Team Liquid. Everything after that was just a painful death. Doesn't matter anymore. We are back to business. This is where Team Liquid can redeem themselves on, as you said, a more standard map. We had a great series.